Welcome back, everybody, to Thanks for Your Concern. You're here with Berenice.
And I'm Ella. Welcome back to another wonderful week. We're
Yup,
excited to have you. Berenice, how are you doing?
I'm good. Summertime started in New York, and the thing about it is there's so many things going on that you can literally like pack your days. You know what I mean? Like
Oh, yeah.
event, another club. And I have been a very resourceful little girl over here, so I have acquired to be in like five different group chats. And the thing is, like, I actually don't know who's in all what group chats, but they always post like codes and free tickets for stuff. So I always just like sign up and I just have free tickets for things now. So it's really nice. But
That's fun.
also, yeah, but like, I also forget that like people don't function in that wavelength. You know what I mean? Like, I had someone kind of be like, oh, like, I wasn't going to go out Friday. But then things just lined up for me. So I was like, okay, whatever. And one of my friends was like, oh, I can pick you up, which is like, rare in New York, had vehicle. And then I was like, okay, like, do you want to go like vibe hopping? Like, we can start at a rhythm show and then we could go to a house show. And then he was like, you do that? And I was like, all the time.
All the time.
And yeah, so it was cool. This weekend has definitely been more of a slowdown than the past previous weekends. It may be that I may have been running away from my feelings for about 3 weeks. Okay. It's come to my attention that that may have been the case when I like this week suddenly I was like, why am I feeling feelings right now? Like really strong feelings. And I was like, oh, there's probably some things I haven't processed like full yet. So we did a lot of just like reflection this week, but I'm feeling good and it's been way more calm. I did throw myself into a mosh pit last night. I went to Yuki. I'm like, it's really relaxing, like a really chill weekend. No, I haven't been to like a really fun rave in a while just because I don't know, like I feel like rave culture is a lot more popular now, which isn't a bad thing. But it shows just like sometimes the vibes don't hit right, the environment's like whatever. I haven't been down to like a dirty little rave in a minute, and I went to Yuki last night and it was fun. Like this one was like what I consider a rave to be. But yeah, so I was like, let me hop into this mosh pit. I don't know, maybe I just needed to feel something, you know?
Dude, every time I try to go into a mosh pit, I remember one time my friend was like, no, stop. Like, you are little and too drunk to be in a mosh pit right now. But I was like, no, I want to be in the mosh pit. And then every time I've been in a mosh pit, I'm like, oh my God, no. I like the idea of a mosh pit, but once I'm in there, I'm like, this is a lot.
You have to choose the right ones. They can't be like that aggressive. Like I can't jump into some mosh pits, but this one was like pretty light and I saw another girl in there, so I was like, okay, fuck it, you know? Did almost sprain my ankle though. Like I definitely heard it and I was like, ooh, whoosh. And usually I'll still go hard, but I was like, Bernice, let's just not think about this moment. Let's think like longevity. If you
Yeah.
keep jumping on this foot, it's gonna end up sprained, and then you're gonna have more issues later this week. So I like try to play it cool, but now I feel something, and it's
Pain.
pain.
Pain. Bro, well, speaking of pain, holy shit, y'all. So I've been back in the gym hitting weights hard, okay? Just to
Hell
feel
yeah,
something,
brother.
you know?
Me too.
I, did you just watch Love Lies Bleeding?
No.
Okay, so Love Lies Bleeding is the Kristen Stewart movie. And also I forget what her name is, but she's really dope too. But it's a like an action lesbian movie based off of like a lesbian bodybuilder. It's
Okay.
really dope. It's really dope. Love that movie. But this girl looks jacked. She looks so good. And I'm like, I want to look like that. I'm not actually going to look like that because no spoiler alert, but she does do steroids and it does cause her problems. So I'm not actually going to do steroids, but I've just been like lifting tough. And then I'm like, holy shit. Okay, maybe I need to back off just a bit, because last time I tried to lift this hard, I was like 22. But I'm still having a good time. And then what else have I been doing that I wanted to update the pod on? I forgot. I had a really good update, but I completely forgot, babes. Well, that's it. No,
That's it.
I'm making chicken broth right now.
Okay.
and that feels really wholesome.
That
I'm like,
is
oh my god,
wholesome.
who makes chicken broth from scratch? But I'm doing this thing where I'm trying to like get rid of everything in my pantry. So I'm basically doing chopped every week instead of getting
Okay.
new ingredients. And so I was like, you know what? I do have a lot of chicken carcasses that I've been meaning to boil, so let me get on that
We
today.
might as well.
Might as well. Today's as good as any day. But yeah, that's been very fun. I've been doing a lot of cooking, so that's love getting back into that wholesome energy. Just cooking for myself too, which is so weird because
You
boyfriend's
are
long
into that.
distance. So it's just like I'm like, you know, like Nara Smith has like a family that she cooks spends 12 hours to cook for. It just doesn't hit the same when you cook for yourself for that long, but I'm trying to enjoy
I
it anyways.
I agree. I think that's my biggest thing. Like, if we're in a group setting, no problem. I'll get in the kitchen, we're all in there, I'll chop it up. I don't care. But it's for me, I get so
Me
lazy.
too. I'm mostly lazy, so I like
Yeah.
my go-to meal usually. Dude, I love a good veggie burger, babes. I just like a veggie burger with literally nothing on it but mayo and barbecue sauce, and I eat that like every day. And so like I'm like, holy shit, I need to like actually make myself food. So I'm making some wholesome vegetable soup. You'd think it's summertime, not a good time. It's fucking buckets out there. It's actually perfect weather for fucking soup, and I'm kind of pissed about it, but we're gonna let it go.
Damn. Well, I'm sorry. I kind of forgot about veggie burgers. I'm gonna get back on that track. Yeah, weather is important in the summertime. I hope that by the time I'm in Seattle, I'll be there in a few weeks.
Yeah.
It'll be good. I'll be there for Pride. I haven't done Seattle Pride since like pre-pandemic.
I
So
went, but like not like you know, there's like a way to do it. I feel like if you just go to like, I mean, you can make a whole month of it, week of it. Are you doing party vibes or what's your vibe gonna be?
I don't know. I am in my reconnecting with nature phase. So my ideal plan of going to Seattle was like to be outdoors. But then I was like, damn, it's also Pride. So I
Pride's
don't know.
outside
Pride is
sometimes.
outside. Pride is outside sometimes. Different vibe. Maybe one day. I honestly like. I love me a good party, but I don't know. Like I think I'm just ready for something new, some new experience, some new vibes. I'm starting to be a little more wholesome. Last night I talked to this dude. He's cute. He like works in the rave scene, and we were gonna like meet up, like I guess during or after the show because he was working the event. And then he just like kind of set the tone of like what foreshadowing of his idea. It was just like, oh yeah, we could probably hang out like after a show, and I was like, nah, like I'm at home, like like makeup off, tucked in. I'm like, I don't think I'm your girl, but thanks for the transparency. I'll see you around.
Yeah, we love transparency.
We do. I think I'm at the age where I'm just like, okay, cool. Not for me. You're nice to look at, but no.
The big old age of
The big old age
leave
of
me alone. I'd just
yeah.
rather not.
I'm not trying to fuck around and find out. I already know. I already learned my lessons. Okay.
All right, baby. Are you ready to get into the episode?
I'm ready.
Well, thanks for your concern. I'm excited for this episode. Fun little topic. But I was thinking about like don't block your blessings because I was hearing this person talk about how they would never ever do something and I was like, you better be really sure you'd never ever do that thing.
I think life is complicated. You don't even suddenly know that you're not in a place to receive until you're in that place and you start freaking out. Um, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's been like a quote recently that's like, if you can walk through the right doors, but like if you aren't already like in the place to receive what's like behind that door, it doesn't matter how many times you walk through it, you still won't get like what is behind that door. Because you're just not ready, right? Like you're just not I think, and it comes with like walking through the right doors, talks a lot about like luck and opportunities and blessings. And luck is really like when preparation meets opportunity. So there, you could have the blessings already in your life, but unless you're like willing to become the person that is ready to receive those blessings and like literally embody those blessings, then you're blocking your own way in a way.
Yeah, and I think about it as like anti-manifestation, right? Is that like you, as much as like we can, I mean, we're a huge proponent of like manifestation and like you have to like see it to believe it. I think the opposite is also true, where if you are reinforcing like negative thoughts and saying you can't do something or you don't want to do something or you never could do something, you're making your brain believe that you don't aren't able to do it. So, if there's something you can't do yet, like talk about it like that instead of I could never do that or I'll never be able to do that. It's like don't say the word never. Don't take yourself out of the game so easily.
That's a limiting belief. It's like my
Mhm.
favorite thing to tell my friends. Sometimes like I'll hear them talk and be like, ugh, that's a limiting belief. We don't do that in this family.
I love
Okay.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're full Delulus up in this bitch. Okay. You have to like fundamentally believe that you deserve good things. And I think, I mean, I don't know if I necessarily felt like I deserve good things until more of my recent years. Not truly. I think like I've always had a sense of like I love myself, but like sometimes you realize that as some affirmations is like I am worthy of love. Have you ever told yourself that and then maybe realized you don't fully believe it? Like that's nuts. And that used to be me. Sometimes I would say it and I was like, I don't know if I fundamentally believe that and why. I think that if you're looking for connection and you want something that's pure and you like think that you're worthy of love, but maybe you just don't fully believe it yet, like self exploration is the way to go, baby. Where is that like wound coming from, right? Like what made you have a doubt that that is something that you deserve?
It's funny because I was just thinking, I was talking about something with my therapist lately, and I was just thinking about it on my own, and I was like, damn, that's crazy that that's like where that comes from. Like me thinking that I'm not, I guess like not cool. I don't know if cool's the right word, but I get a lot of anxiety at work because I feel like I'm awkward because I can't be myself. And then it's like, why do I feel like I can't be myself? There's like a part of me that it like feels like I'm a little too unhinged to be real at work. But I think there's also part of me that feels not accepted. It's like, where does that come from? It's like probably childhood, and maybe we should like let that one go. So I've decided to go completely unhinged. So
And see what
I
happens.
got I got some good laughs this week while being unhinged. And so I'm giving people a little bit more credit. Like maybe they're not going to fire me if I say something a little bit out there. I'm not saying anything crazy, but like I would say most people don't know me at all at work, and that's on purpose. But recently I've just kind of like let it go a little bit, and I really don't. I've just been like, you know what? Why don't we allow people to know me?
Yeah,
But I feel like I would have never figured that out if I didn't sit down and be like, "Oh, this probably comes from like me being a kid and feeling this way." It's all related.
it is all related. There's a lot of things that go, I think, into like blocking your own way. One of them can be communicating, and I think it's the same thing with like you feeling like maybe I'm not cool enough or whatever. Sometimes I thought like I didn't want to express my feelings because of what other people would think, right? Then it's like, oh, I'm typing that paragraph. It's going to make me look like uncool or bothered. It should make you look bothered because you are.
Yeah.
Right? So I think it's part of being authentic and like kind of not giving a fuck about how you are perceived, to be honest. And I think like that is kind of what's exhausting about interactions with other people is you cannot control how other people are going to see you. But if you act as authentically to yourself where you're like proud of your actions and in the way that you're like, well, I kind of gave it all I could. If they kind of like, if it didn't match, if it didn't link for some reason, unfortunately, people are in different places in their lives. Like, people will only know you as much as they know themselves. You know what I mean? So it's like the person that you are is a combination of all of your experiences. You cannot expect other people to meet you there. You just can't. You can try your best, but if they can't, then, that's it's a them problem at that point. Like, you tried, you gave it a good go. It's not a place that it's linking at the moment. Okay, so it's cute, but like for me, my biggest thing of when I was getting in my own way was communicating. I like saw a video from last year pop up, the Snapchat memories, and it was
Mm.
like I was like a sad girl last year. Again, it's just the aesthetic. But it was like I wish I would have communicated how I felt from the beginning because I wonder what it would have like that would have ended up looking like. And I was so proud of myself because I was like, I feel like this year I have communicated to the best of my goddamn abilities to people who I feel like are worth communicating to, who may be, open to get my communication on per se. Some people are just not worth your communication, but that's a story for a different day. And I think with that, it freed me feeling like, oh, I wish I did, or what if, because there's really not like a what if, there is what is, right? So as long as you're like literally representing yourself and your character to the best of your abilities, I don't know, man, like it's a freeing feeling.
Yeah, I was thinking when you're talking about communication, this also feeds into something I was thinking about with like allowing other people to help you and communicating that you need help. I think sometimes we like block an easier path forward because we refuse to accept help. I definitely am this type of way where it's like I have this mindset of like I know how I want it done, so I'm gonna do it, and then I have to struggle through something when someone could have probably offered help if I had communicated that, and even just been open and talking vulnerably. Like sometimes I don't even like to talk about how I'm struggling because it's not something I want to focus on, but you never know, like if you're being honest with someone about what you're going through, who can help you.
It's interesting finding things out about yourself in relationships when other people showcase similar behavior. I was like seeing somebody and they are super avoidant, and it made me look a lot into like, like the style of attachment of like avoidance and whatever, and find in ways that like, oh, I'm a lot like that too. But it took me like a really long time to like unlearn that because I was awful at asking for help. I felt like I was a burden per se, right?
Hmm.
And that comes from basically being neglected in childhood. Oh, your needs were not met as a child, and you probably lived in a little bit of an unstable environment. But it depends. Everybody has their own sort of trauma response. But I don't know. I think with that is realizing that you go through life experiences that have led you to kind of be who you are. And sometimes that can affect our relationship with ourselves and other people. And even though that wasn't like our fault, we didn't like ask for the trauma, it is our responsibility to like unlearn that behavior and heal from that behavior in order to have like good relationships and good friendships. And I think like the more that I have learned about where things are coming from, be able to let them go, be able to forgive the people who maybe caused it and myself, and looking at the world with a lot of compassion and love at the end of the day, it has made me a lot lighter as a person, and my like little practicing like softness. I think that that has been an interesting way of communicating, and I think it has reflected on the way that others see me. Like lately, a lot of people have been like, you just have a really nice aura, like I just like really be like being around you. People I just met, like I've never met these people before, and they are on the Berenice train, they're like, let's get it. So I think like the more that you are welcoming of other people and the more that you know yourself and you become more secure in yourself, and other people will see that.
Yeah, and I think of also with this is like you attract the vibe, your vibe attracts your tribe, but like positivity attracts positivity. How I like to like go out into the world is if someone asks me, I'm trying to give an example without outing myself, but if someone asks me about work and I don't want to talk about work, like I'm going to like talk about what I want to talk about, because instead of complaining about work or complaining about whatever, I want to like focus on the positive aspects of my life, and then hopefully, just through, I don't know, then it's like that's the thing that people are going to talk about or come away from a conversation knowing about me. It's like that's what I want to share with someone. I want to share like the positivity, things I'm working towards, things that bring me joy, and instead of like having a conversation about something I don't give a fuck about, I don't want to talk about. Letting that go into your whole life. And also, I guess I've been I don't know what it has been lately, but I've just been talking to strangers a lot fucking more and being like open and honest with people, and like I don't know what the fuck's been going on, but I just have been like getting numbers and things like that, and I don't think this would have come to me if I wasn't just like if someone just striking up a conversation and being open to talking to a stranger, because if someone makes a comment to you, they're trying to engage with you and connect with you as a human being. So I've just been kind of more open to connection from positive people in life.
I love that. I think when we're getting in our own way and our blessings and maybe being ako taco when it comes to like interacting with others, personally, I have put myself in a lot of embarrassing experiences and predicaments that I think I just lost my sense of shame. You know?
Amen.
And honestly, that's a really good exercise. I saw a TikTok of somebody that goes up to this girl and she's like on the street on a yoga mat, just laying like full vinyasa, you know? And the person goes up to her and she's like, what are you like? Do you mind if I ask you what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I think it's like rejection therapy. So like you do things that are like basically like out of the status quo. Like people are gonna look at you weird to get you like out of the fear of like rejection. I think that is beautiful. I think you should do it. You know what I mean? Like, do something so bizarre and out of the norm that you get comfortable getting looked at weird. And you know, like practice that. Because when you genuinely do not give a flying fuck about like what other people think and perceive you as, A, you're free. And two, become an inspiration to me.
Yes, babes. I mean, being inspirational. I think that's like something like when you think about like, oh, okay, like don't block yourself. Like instead of aspiring to something, like be aspirational. You know, like just be the person, embody it. Instead of like chasing somebody else's life, make your life something that you want people to chase. Become the person instead of like chasing towards something else.
100%. Blocking your blessings. I would say, like, I try not to get in my own way anymore, but I do notice it on other people sometimes. When you are in a bad place, I think a lot of people are like, oh my God, I don't see like an exit out of this like bad place of this lifestyle. It is just one type of lifestyle. Like if you have bad habits and if you have a certain like at least for me like I know that unless I have a schedule, I sleep enough, and you know, like I have a creative output, something is going to be not great in here in like the heart, body, soul, and mind, right? If I am going out a lot and I am not getting a lot of sleep, like everything starts affecting other aspects in my life. And then I start getting a lot of anxiety. And prolonged anxiety for me leads to depression. If I sit there and I'm like, I'm really unhappy right now, and maybe I start to question, like, do I like the people around me? I need to first change my habits, okay, to
Mm.
align with the person that I want to be. So I think sometimes we get kind of in these ruts when we lose sight of some of the things that we need to do for ourselves. So becoming like healthy of mind and body, I think is kind of like the first step into I want to like change my life and change my surroundings. You can change your surroundings one day to the next, no problem. But like fundamentally changing your own routines and patterns, I think make a way bigger impact. Everything surrounding when you change those things will change on its own. Like I know I have people who are like, I don't know if my partner is right for me. Like he really likes to party. I'm trying to get my shit together. Well, then you go ahead and you get your shit together without him. And if he cannot keep up, he cannot keep up, and you're going to get bored and you're not going to want to be in that relationship automatically.
Yep. Heard. The best change happens within, and we have like there's like a scale of like how big of change that you need, right? I think some people do need to like fucking completely tear their life down and rebuild it back up, but you actually might not need to do that. Like you might just need a couple of fucking changes for you to change perspective or to appreciate life more. I'm like, you guys know, I go to a shit ton of movies, and I'm so thankful for these movies because it gives me perspective on my own life. And so I come out of a movie, the one that I think about is like El Capitano, which talks about the immigrant story through Africa to Italy. Bitch, I came out of that movie fucking with my whole life changed because I just was like, fuck it. I just cannot be complaining about this shit that does not matter. And so I think like you might think that you need to change your whole entire life. You might just need to change your perspective, or you might just need to start doing little things to snowball into these huge big changes. Like I think when you said like get enough sleep, oof, that's a big one for me. Me, if I don't get enough exercise, babes, I start getting really sad. I get really sad really quick, and then I go on a run, and then I'm like, okay, wait, we're back. Like we're back,
We're
cool.
good.
And so now I just keep that as part of my routine to get me back. So it's like change your perspective, maybe just change one thing before you tear your whole life down.
You gotta help yourself, bro. Like
Yeah.
for real. I think we forget how important like brain chemistry is. Like if you're in a rut and you're not changing anything about your situation, well, babe, it's like that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I think like for me, before I moved to New York and decided to change my entire life, there were other changes that kind of led up to that one. And one of them was during the pandemic, I just like knew I wasn't happy. So I started running every day. And it went from like 1 mile to 5 miles. And while I was running, I started like daydreaming of type of like the things that I wanted and kind of like building blocks of like, I want to form a collective and how am I going to get there and what does that look like? And it wasn't something like I was going to obtain tomorrow, but it was just kind of like dreaming bigger and thinking of like what is my bigger purpose, right? And then after running became like, oh, I want to start eating healthier. And after that I was like, okay, well, like I'm in a really kind of different place. I think I caught of alcohol for like a month, and like people that I was still hanging out with, that's all they like to do for the most part. And you know, no shade, whatever. Like that's your lifestyle. But I just didn't want that anymore. You know what I mean? Like like I wanted to do different things, and I was like, okay, you know, moving to New York doesn't seem that crazy. Leaving everything doesn't seem that crazy, and then I did, and then you know, like, and then you get into those cycles again because obviously we're people, we have habits, we have patterns of behavior, and you can fall back into those cycles wherever you're at. But it really just takes like you to kind of like say, okay, well, we were good. What happened? Maybe we're not good right now, and how can we gather ourselves to make small changes in our lives to see how that affects our situations. But I would say, like, if you're really true to the things that make you happy and you have good, healthy habits, and you want to form community, blessings will come. You know what I mean? Like, worry about
Mm-hmm.
yourself, be a good person, act right. You 100% know what it is like to act right with other people and yourself. And if you do those things, I absolutely no way that like life isn't gonna just like show up in ways for you.
Yeah, what I think you're talking about with like healthy habits and things, like it's not just the healthy habits, but for me at least, it builds like confidence and trust in myself. So like for me to say like right now I'm walking 10,000 steps every day just because I just like wanted to do something and like build consistency so that I can have like the confidence and trust in myself, because I think sometimes if you're not confident that you can pull something off, or you don't trust that you're making the right decisions, you're going to block your blessings because you don't trust yourself, right? If you don't trust yourself to make decisions for yourself, when an opportunity comes around, you might be like, I don't know if I can do this, or I don't know if this is the right choice. Babes, you have to have confidence in yourself and trust in yourself, because like you said, blessings will come, especially if you're building community and you're helping other people. And that's why whenever I can help someone, I like go out of my freaking way to do it, because it's like hopefully it just comes back tenfold.
And I think it is easier said than done. I don't know if sometimes it's like you don't necessarily trust yourself, but maybe you just don't have a clear vision of the future, which makes things like people get anxiety of like, oof, am I making the right decision, right? And I see there's a lot of like people who are scared of like committing to anything in life, okay, or making a choice out of anything. I think like two affirmations to help this is one, I always get what I want. Good things are always coming my way. Things are always working out for me. If you fundamentally believe that, regardless of the decision that you make, shit is gonna line up for you. Because regardless of the decision that you make, if you think that A, you deserve good things, and two, that you attract good things, if something starts being not so good, too hard, to whatever, then that's how you know it's just like not aligning, right? The decision is gonna be made for you. So you gotta have a little faith in the world that through the experiences, even though they're tough, you're gonna get to where you need to go. So if you don't trust yourself, at least trust like something. And I think that comes down to like a lot of people like with religion and stuff like that. Obviously, you're like, I trust that God's got a plan for me. If you're not into religion, you can be spiritual. I'm like, I trust the universe has got my back fully.
Yes,
You
and
know?
I literally talked about this the other day, and I was like, honestly, there's what is for me, and I say like the universe is working in my favor. So if something doesn't work out, babe, so that's in my favor. And the thing is you
Yeah.
never know if it was once something has not worked out for you, or once something is like not happening for you. There's like not another path where you know what happens, right? Like, okay, hey, this move didn't work out, or this opportunity didn't work out. Well, now you don't know what that path is going to be like. So it's better to go down the path of this was for a reason. This was for something else, and just kind of go with the positivity, half glass full, almost delusional thinking of no, wait, actually, this is going to work in my favor in the long run, babes, just because I fully believe that. And then in the grand scheme of life, like one door closes, another one opens. I fully believe that. I kind of was taught that lesson very young at 18, where it was like, oh God, like, thank God so many things had to go wrong, because this major thing that went right would not have been possible otherwise. And so if opportunities don't happen, I'm just like, okay, cool, it wasn't for me, all good, let's move on to the next thing, keep it pushing, don't get bitter at the universe, because the universe is working in your favor.
Yeah, I think having the ability to pivot, right? Like I'm also a stubborn human being, and I get really attached to outcomes or like visions, you know what I mean? As
Mm-hmm.
part of like the Lulu mentality does. But I think if you become a little bit more flexible with like, okay, that didn't work. How can we pivot that direction and take focus out of like this specific one path, right? Because life can go here, 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 here. Okay, we're not going that way. Now we're going this way. There's going to be other avenues to get to where you want to go. And that comes in anything. Like you and connection, it didn't work out with one person. They weren't ready. Let them go, sis. We're pivoting to, oh, okay, we're not going down that road. We still know who the fuck we are. We have our goals. We have our shit set up of what we want our outcomes, our goals to be. This is why you can't. Do not make a person your entire life. Okay? Make sure that you just got shit going on for yourself, because I cannot tell you how many times I've seen friends make a person their entire life, and they're so lost in the sauce when that person goes away because they just don't have anything else going on. When you have other things going on, the other things that you have going on make you keep going. Like I can't, even if I get heartbroken, I can't like wake up and say fuck my job, fuck like this business I'm starting to grow. No, oh my god, it didn't work out. That is very sad. I'm going to deal with my feelings, but like I still have shit to do. You know what I mean? Like
Hey
I have,
man,
yeah.
you never know how life goes, but like you focusing on yourself and making sure that like you're making a clear path forward for yourself regardless of other people's outcomes is good too, because you never know how life is going to spin you, give you a 180-degree turn, and something comes completely out of left field. So it's like, all right, well, I have this path. It might not be a straight line, but I am on a path.
100%. And when it comes to other people, like you got to make space for new people in your life, okay? If you cling on to the idea of something. And here's the thing, a lot of people make their way back into your life. There's so many people that actually end up with their exes. So, have that
Don't wish
belief
that
if you
evil
want
on
to.
me.
Don't wish that evil on me. I think like just worry about your path and let other people figure their shit out without you. You know what I mean? Like there's so many life experiences, and like that's their canon event. You can't interfere. That's how I see it with other people. If people choose to hit an exit in my life, it's because they gotta grow without me. I have other shit to do while they get their own little experiences worked out over there. You know what I mean? And right now, like my biggest, I guess, like message into the universe is like, please do not put any people back into my life that will not match where I am in life. Keep them the fuck away from me. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I am not like fully like, you burn me once, get like, goodbye forever. But it's like, please, like, take these people out of my life. Don't make me run into them. I don't want them unless they can meet me where I am in life. And then once you're there, obviously you have more conversations and things. But in the meantime, I don't want me clinging on to somebody to block connections, to block opportunities. You know what I mean? Because when people get you down, you're not in the right state of mind. You don't want to do the things that you are passionate about. And that blocks a lot of the things that you could be doing. So put that energy into the world. You know, this person isn't for me right now. Cool. They can go figure it out. It does not matter what they're doing. Doesn't matter if they're rebounding. It doesn't matter if they decide to go in a spiral. That has nothing to do with you. That has
Go
everything
get
to do.
married.
A lot of listen. A lot of people hop from one relationship to the next, and I can testify by seeing other people do it, by seeing myself sometimes in relationships when you're thinking about somebody else. Being with somebody does not mean they don't have feelings for other people. Unfortunately, like that they haven't worked their shit out. I know, and that is scary. So let those people go, you know? Go work it out over there with that other person, you know? Like get what you need from that situation. And don't come back into my life unless it's something that I deserve. And then if they come back and you're already working on yourself and you're already in another stage in your life, you will see it and be like, that doesn't match at all with my vibe. And then you can, you know, be happy that you let them go. And unfortunately, it didn't play out, but it's okay.
Yeah, and I fully agree. Honestly, there's like how many billion people on this world now, so it's like you can find so many connections, like friendship
100%.
connections. You can build a goddamn new family if you want to. Like, so I feel like let people go on their path and like worry about them yourself as much as possible.
Like, there isn't one single character I think I've cried over where I like look at what their life has ended up as and being like, I could see myself in that life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's very, at least for me, that's like very interesting because I was like, oh, this is where they were headed. And I understand why that was just never going to play out because that was not where I ever intended to be headed.
I mean, yeah, well, no one where am I headed? We'll see, but no one's gotten there yet. So, but I honestly was thinking about what you were saying about like letting other people go, and then once they come back, only come back into your life if they're ready. I kind of think about how I act towards people in the same way and try to leave people with like the best impression of me just in case our paths cross later down the line. So just like living within like I don't know, just honestly being a good person. I feel like you never know what's going to happen, and also like not being a hater for hater's sake. Like I sometimes hear people, "Oh, I would never do that. I'd never do that," and then they're like, I want to start a podcast, and I'm like, well, remember when you were hating on me for starting a podcast? Interesting. Anyways, I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like, you never know when the tables will turn, and so by being a good person, and also like you never know when connections are gonna happen. Like I had one of my coworkers be like, "Oh, this woman applied for a job at our company, and she was such a massive like fucking B word to me, so like we're not gonna hire her." And I was thinking, "Oof, I bet that girl would wishes she was nice. I don't have to worry
Shoot.
about that because I'm nice all the fucking time. All right."
You know, I'm kind of I try to have positive interactions with everybody I meet just because I feel like nobody deserves a negative one. I'm not perfect, okay? I can't control if sometimes life is life. But like I try to have it be a good interaction rather than a bad one.
I mean, some people don't think about that. I know that that's true. So I'm just like trying to like pass on people that like, yeah, you never know where people are going to end up or how people can help you. Or we also have like a limited like scope of how we know people. So you have no idea like all the other things people have either done in the past or will do in the future. I was talking to someone and they're like, oh, did you know that I did something similar like 15 years ago? If you ever had questions about that, let me know. I would have had no idea in the context of that I known someone that they had that experience. So it's like you just really never know when someone could help you out. So it's like, yeah, it just behooves you to be kind to people around you. There's no downsides to being a good person. Let me tell you that.
No, and even when life's got you down, when you're like, I'm a good person, why do these things happen to me? Shit happens to everybody, okay? Everybody gets the shit end of the stick sometimes. Believe me, it does not matter how good of a person you are. You know, everybody gets theirs. It really does.
I mean, yeah, but honestly, I don't even believe those things are happening to me in a way. Like, I think that's how I separate myself. Like, if something happens that is part of like life, That's not
Yeah.
happening to me. That's just happening.
Yeah, but I will say that being a good human and having good relationships will make all the shit that happens not, I mean, it will still be impactful, but you'll have a support system and community, and that makes it a lot easier than if you are a shitty person that does not like trust people, doesn't want to have, connections with other people, and then when shit happens, it hits you like 3, 4 times as hard because like you feel alone and you feel like you
Mm-hmm.
don't have people there, and it's like, well, why don't you have people there? A, you're either not letting them, or two, you're being shitty to people. You know what I mean? So it's like you just kind of have to choose what type of life that you want. And if you always want to face adversity alone, that's kind of up to you. But if you're like, oh my God, I don't like to receive help, I don't want shit from people, and why does the life always suck? Well, maybe you're just getting in your own way by not allowing good connections in your life to help you through situations that life will hit you with. Okay? Because I will say I've been a little messy, depressy, and every single one of my friends has called me to check up on me, to say like, do you want to go do something? What can we do? And I don't know, even though like, yeah, situation hurt my feelings, I feel so blessed because I have all these people in my life that generally like care enough to call me, and I have so much love in my life. So like, I don't know, glass half full always, help yourself.
It's like having an emotional piggy bank in a way, where it's like, just deposit a penny in there every single day, so then when you need to make a withdrawal, you got something in there. All right, like that's what I
Hmm.
think. A lot of people that feel like isolated, or like, oh my god, this I'm doing this all alone. Baby, are you putting money into your piggy bank? Because if you're not, there's not going to be money there when you need it.
Yeah. Dun dun dun. Well, regardless. Don't block your blessings. There's so many out there, and it may be in shapes and ways and forms that you may not even realize. So
Mhm.
be receptive to good vibes. Not sometimes you feel like everyone's out to get you. Fell, okay, but maybe they're not.
Yeah, and let go of some things so that they can be blessings for other people. All right, some things are not for us, but they're for other people. Let it go, and then be open-minded, because you might receive something you weren't specifically asking for, but it's exactly what you needed.
Yeah, that is very true. All right. Well, thanks for listening. We'll catch you next week. As always, please subscribe, send it to a friend that maybe, is blocking their blessings. And then go follow us on social media at things number 4 your concern. I'm at Bernice Diaz M.
And I'm at Ella L Tudor. See ya.
Bye. Love ya. Kiss, kiss. Ta ta.